Hey everybody, welcome back to my series, How to Start a Clothing Brand from Scratch. With me, Olivia, the owner and head designer, creative director, everything under the sun at OVA. Let's get down to the nitty gritty. The first episode, I talked about something a little unconventional, which was my first step in starting my own clothing brand. And today I'm going to talk about something that isn't unconventional because you really do need to be doing this if you're going to start your own clothing brand. I started designing like a crazy person, okay? I was designing all the time. Whatever came to my brain, I put down on pen and paper. And I also used pen and paper. When I was a kid, I used to love to draw. I would literally just go in my room, turn on my tunes, and just like draw for hours. So that skill ended up really helping me now because it was like literally like 10, 15 years later, and I still had that muscle of being able to draw things, and I was able to kind of flex that muscle so that when I was designing, I could actually design things. But you can totally start from anywhere and just start. Like, it doesn't matter if it looks good. It doesn't matter if you can totally see everything. As long as you're practicing that muscle, it's gonna get better and improve. Like, my first couple of sketches weren't the best and they were more simple. But as time went on, I really was able to create designs that were more complex and show stitching and show boning or show ruching or show how something was tied. And that you can only learn by doing it over time. So during this time, I was literally designing constantly. I was in grad school when I had decided to start my business. So my last semester, I had Fridays off. So that day, I literally would just watch my trashy TV shows that I saved up the whole week because I watch 90 Day everything, like 90 Day Fiance, 90 Day the Other Way. Literally every 90 Day series I watch. So I literally would save up all those episodes throughout the week. And then Friday, I would just be like, I'll put it on, watch it with my headphones, and then literally just like design everything that had come to me during the week. Because during the week, I would get inspiration from different things, whatever it was, and think like, oh, I want to put that down. So I would take notes either in my like notes app on my phone, or I would just take a screenshot of something that inspired me. Like literally one of the first pants that I ever designed was inspired by a bed sheet that I saw. It was like ruched, and I was like, oh, those would be like a cool pair of pants. So I like just took a screenshot of it. And then that Friday when I was going to be my design day, I literally just sat down, looked at my screenshots and was like, oh yeah, I'm going to draw this. So I did. The other thing that I really want to touch on is that I think it was very helpful for me to start with like paper and pencil, like versus using my iPad, which is what I do now. I use Illustrator, but I thought that that was the best way to start because I just had to flex my muscle of getting back to art and drawing and flexing that muscle, right? Versus having to flex a technology muscle when you start to use new platforms such as Illustrator. You now have to be an Illustrator genius. People don't tell you this when you're starting your brand. Every single thing you do, you have to be the genius one behind it, okay? So if you're gonna start using Illustrator to design your pieces, guess what? Now you have to be an Illustrator guru. So when I was starting off, I was like, you know what? Paper and pencil is fine. Some of the best designers always design on paper and pencil, okay? I don't really know that. I'm just like trying to hype myself up about that. And then after about, I think, a year of designing on paper, I switched to getting an iPad because by that time I was designing so much that it's like I just needed one place to see everything. And then it was really easy because of like, you know, using color and using texture and making seam detail and stitches and things like that I was expanding into. So I would totally start where you can. Most people have access to paper and pencils. So if you're just trying to start somewhere, start with that. There's no problem. You do not need to start with something super duper. And also, like, when you're doing this, do not judge yourself, because sometimes you may design things that are like very questionable, and then other things are actually going to be exactly what you sell. So my 001 tie front dress that is in our Aries Rising collection was one of the first pieces I had designed, and I brought it to life, and it was very simple the way I drew it. It was very straight to the point. If you're interested in seeing the original sketches, I have that all on my Instagram. So go there, look at those. And if I was scared to put everything down on paper at that time, I would not have had that piece, which now people buy and people wear. So I'm really excited and happy about that. Trust what you're doing, trust the process. It might not be pretty at first, but it will be in the future. Also, during this time, I was just like delving into everything fashion that I loved. I was going through lots of archives. I was reading lots of magazines. I was like a Pinterest girly at the time. And that was literally building so much of what I really wanted to design, because I do not want to sell pieces that are overly trendy, because I never want you to buy something at OVA and you feel like you can only wear it for one season. OVA is not about that. We only make pieces that are timeless. So I really loved going back into the archives and seeing things that were timeless, something that I would wear today that someone would wear in the early 2000s and that someone would wear in the 90s, like something like that that felt timeless to me. So like, for example, we have our 001 lace dress in our Aries Rising collection, and that is a lace dress with an off-the-shoulder style, and that has a timeless feel to it. And to make it more trendy and more modern, I chose to have the veil as part of it, and then also do it in a red color and not just black. Black is obviously timeless, and you can see I'm a neutrals girly, so I obviously love black, but I also wanted it to be in a color that felt modern and elevated for today, and the red made that happen. So stay tuned for the next episode of our series, How to Start Your Own Clothing Brand from Scratch. And thanks for tuning in.